I tell you what, a few weeks back, my email got ransacked at like a trailer park after a tornado, but it had this weird silver lining. It was one of them deals where they crack into your digital mailbox and start slinging spam links to everybody you ever even side-eyed in your address book. So basically, I became a digital typhoid Mary, spreading a rash of weirdness to all my contacts, which honestly was kind of like killing two birds with one stone because I'm terrible at keeping up with folks. I'm like a hermit crab with a smartphone. Consider it my Christmas card for the year, a digital thinking of you with a hint of identity theft. And then, bless their cotton socks, everybody emailed back to tell me I'd been hacked. It was like a digital baby shower, folks, crawling out of the woodwork to send their well wishes and warnings. Email viruses, man, they bring folks together in ways you wouldn't believe, like a potluck after a hurricane. Now, get this, one fella I know, bless his heart, emails me back saying, I quote, "Hey, clicked on the link you sent. Don't want to buy any herbal Viagra. Dead serious, this ain't no comedian. I've known him 17 years. He's dumber than a box of hair. That's the long and short of it." So a few things tickled me about this whole shebang. First off, who in the name of Dale Earnhardt still clicks on spam links? And this link, mind you, looked like it was cooked up in a meth lab, dollar signs and swastikas, like HPV wrote a website. He gets this in a blank email and thinks, yep, that's the ticket. Clicks on it with gusto, and then gets whisked away to a website selling this herbal Viagra. And his first thought is, Theo's getting into the snake oil business. But you know what kind of stung my biscuit? The thought that he figured that's how I'd hawk herbal Viagra, like I'm some kind of backwoods huckster just dropping links in blank emails with the subject line, check this out, which, by the way, ain't never been said by me in my entire life. If I was going to spam everybody I ever met about some shady new hustle, I'd pen a damn novel of an intro letter first. Dear friends and family, comedy didn't pan out. Turns out folks ain't paying to hear about my childhood in rural Louisiana. But have you ever hankered for some Viagra, but feared the side effects of the non-herbal kinda? Well, me and my Cayman Islands business partners got the remedy. Click on the swastika below and be whisked away to the world's ugliest website. Hope you can read pink on purple, because that's the layout we chose. Thank you, and may the Lord be with you. That's how I roll. Ain't no half-stepping. And speaking of time, I crossed the 30-year mark recently, which changes how you watch movies. When I was a rugrat watching action flicks, I'd identify with the hero, the fella trying to save the day. Now, I only relate to the side characters, the ones rolling their eyes in the corner like the dudes who'd have to deal with Spider-Man's dry cleaning. That's where I'm at now. You know who my hero was growing up? Michael J. Fox's Marty McFly in Back to the Future. Love that dude. Want to be him. But I watched that movie again recently, and Marty McFly is a 17-year-old high school student. His best friend is a disgraced nuclear physicist, and I swear to God, they never explain how they became friends, and we were all just cool with it. Nobody batted an eye. We were just like, who's his best friend? A disgraced nuclear physicist? Okay, yeah, proceed. Yep, that checks out. Proceed with the movie. Back to the Future is a classic, no doubt, but it's a downright bizarre movie. I'm telling you. Imagine the pitch meeting. Two fellas strolling into a movie studio saying, okay, we got an idea for the next big family action movie. It's about a fella named Marty. He's a high school student. Real lazy. Always sleeping late. The studio guys are like, okay, is he cool like Ferris Bueller? And the writers are like, nah, but he's got a best friend. Yeah? Who's that? Oh, just a disgraced nuclear physicist. I'm sorry, is this another student? Oh, no. This other guy's like 40 or 80. We ain't sure how old he's supposed to be. Anyway, so one day, the boy and the scientist, they build a time machine. Whoa. Okay, I see where this is going. Let me guess. They build a time machine and go back in time and stop the Kennedy assassination. Oh, no. It's a real good idea. We didn't even think of that. Okay, well, what do they do with the time machine? Well, now I'm embarrassed to say. All right, here goes nothing. We thought it'd be fun if the boy, went back in time and tried to make moves on his own mama. So we thought that'd be a hoot. And then, oh yeah, no, but don't worry, he doesn't actually get to Netflix and chill with his mom because this family friend named Biff shows up and tries to have his way with her in front of the son. And then the dad, he has to defend her honor. And we're also going to say that a white man wrote Johnny B. Good, so we're going to take that away from them too, just for kicks. Well, this sounds like a fantastic movie. We are definitely going to make this. Now, you say they go to the past. You want to call it Back to the Past? No. Back to the Future. Right, but they go to the past. Yeah. But it's like, what in the sweet tea is going on? All right. So I was down in Tickfaw, Louisiana, visiting my uncle Earl, bless his heart. He's got this A rooster named Clarence that thinks he's a dang opera singer, just screaming at the moon all night long, kept me up more than a possum in a laundromat. But anyway, Earl's watching Law and Order, and he's yelling at the TV. They're always stealing stories out of the newspaper, dang varmints. And it got me thinking, like, that one time on SVU, they did that whole sex addiction thing, right? I remember when all them Hollywood types were coming clean, like a bunch of sinners at a revival meeting. So Ice-T, bless his icy soul, he's trying to figure it out, like explaining the internet to a squirrel, and finally it clicks, bam, close up on Ice-T, and he's all, oh, I get it. You mean like when someone drinks too much moonshine or snorts that white stuff or bets the farm on them crawfish races. And I'm thinking, yeah, Ice-T, you got it, partner. But dang it, I could have watched a whole dang marathon of just Ice-T giving examples, just him sitting there deadpan, like, or when someone chews too much tobacco, or like when someone buys too many porcelain dolls from QVC. Or like when someone spends all day polishing their truck, or like when someone hoards too many ketchup packets from McDonald's, you know? Just going on and on, Fade to Black, created by Dick Wolf. Like, that's what addiction is, right? It's just Ice-T listing examples until the sun dies. Anyway, that reminds me of this time I saw a raccoon try to steal a whole bag of powdered donuts from a picnic table. He looked like he was going to explode, and I realized, man, sometimes we're all just raccoons, and those donuts is whatever thing we can't stop chasing in life, so cheers to the donuts, you know? All right, so I was back home in Louisiana last week, right? And my cousin Earl, bless his heart, he's got this whole thing about wasps. Like, he's convinced they're government drones or something, so he's out there with a badminton racket swinging like he's playing Wimbledon against the deep state. And he says to me, he goes, Theo, you got to get wasp spray. It's the ultimate defense. Now, Earl's a good dude, but he also believes Bigfoot's running a meth lab in the Washington National Forest, so I take his advice with a grain of that pink Himalayan salt, you know, the kind that rich folks think makes their water taste better, but it's really just salt anyway. This whole wasp spray thing, it reminds me of that time I saw a dude try to rob a convenience store with a rubber chicken, thought he was being all sneaky, but the cashier just started laughing. Point is, some things just ain't gonna work, like Earl's wasp killing strategy or trying to pay your taxes with Monopoly money. See, that's how this whole sex offender situation is. People think, oh, I'll just blast him with wasp spray, that'll teach him. But hold on there, Skippy, that stuff's for wasps, and even then, Earl ain't had much luck. Plus, you're gonna end up in court with some lawyer charges by the nanosecond, arguing about whether you were defending yourself or just trying to reenact a scene from Honey, I Shrunk the Kid. Pepper spray. That's the real deal. It's like the difference between a rusty butter knife and a ninja sword. One's going to get the job done. The other's going to leave you looking like a fool and about taking care of business yourself. That's like trying to fix your own car engine after watching one YouTube video. You might think you know what you're doing, but you're probably just going to make things worse. Wear gloves, a mask. That's smart. Like wearing a condom to a disco. You're prepared for anything. And this whole shake weight thing, I mean, come on. That's like bringing a spork to a steakhouse. It ain't going to cut it. Semen's a biohazard. Yeah, that'll get someone's attention, like telling a vegetarian he's about to eat a plate of bacon-wrapped scallops, but honestly, do your thing in your own space, just not in front of the ladies and children. It's like playing the banjo naked on a trampoline, fun for you maybe, but not a sight for anyone else to see, but don't be ridiculous or anything. All right, folks, let me tell you something. Growing up in Possum Trot, Tennessee, population smaller than a Walmart on a Tuesday night, we didn't have no fancy math groups. No Blue Angels flying high. We just had smart kids and the rest of y'all, and I was definitely hanging out with the rest of y'all. Probably eating a moon pie and trying to figure out why the sky was blue, which, you know, is a deeper question than any algebra equation. I swear it makes you think about stuff like how we're all just dust particles floating in the cosmos, kind of like those folks on Law and Order, always finding dead bodies in New York, which I gotta say I love that show, especially the one where the dude is unloading crates while the detectives are asking him about a triple homicide. Like, sir, your neighbor's been murdered and his cats are missing. And he's like, yeah, Tony Ramirez, Tuesday's box of bananas. I tell you, that reminds me of my Uncle Billy, who wouldn't stop whittling even when a tornado was coming. Said he had a wood spirit to appease anyway. Law and Order's just comfort food. You know, same story every time, like them Dollar General cookies that are always a little stale, but somehow you still eat them. And then there's Jerry Orbach, Lenny Briscoe himself. That guy was a legend. I miss him more than I miss my Aunt Mildred's potato salad at Thanksgiving, which, let me tell you, was a culinary crime against humanity, bless her heart. Jerry was the best. Always had that dry wit like a good shot of moonshine on a cold night. And then he went and died. And get this, they gave his eyeballs to two different New Yorkers. Two different people walking around with Jerry Orbach, looking out at the world. Imagine the pressure. I mean, what if one of them starts making those little wisecracks at crime scenes, like, looks like someone didn't pass their final exam. That'd be something. Or maybe they both fall in love. Like
like some kind of bizarre rom-com. Love at first sight. New York. Two strangers meet, who only share a pair of deceased detectives' eyes. He likes football, she likes stocks, but then they stumble upon a dead body and at the same time they both just blurt out, well, class dismissed, as they gaze into each other's Jerry Orbach-y eyes.
All right. Settle down, y'all. Good to be here. Feeling good. Feeling real good. Almost 30, which, it's a number, a big old juicy number. Feels like yesterday I was chasing fireflies in the Louisiana swamp. Bare feet, covered in mud, thinking quicksand was going to be the death of me. Seriously, you watch those cartoons, it's right up there with anvils falling from the sky and sticks of dynamite. I was more worried about quicksand than taxes. And now, never even seen it. Nobody calling me up saying, Theo, take the back roads, quicksand swallowed. It's like, where'd it go? Like my hairline vanished into the ether, but back then, the real threat, the thing that kept me up at night wasn't sinking in sand. It was people thinking I was Chinese. Let me tell you, this bowl cut and these squinty eyes, they screamed Kung Fu Kid louder than Bruce Lee on a karaoke night. Kids be calling me names, slurs I ain't even gonna repeat. Words I didn't even understand. I'm standing there like a confused possum in a headlight, 'cause I ain't Chinese. My family's about as Chinese as grits and gravy. The closest we get to Asia is taking our shoes off at the door, mostly just to keep the carpet clean after Mama's crawfish boil. But it was rough. It was real rough. I remember in 7th grade, we went to the symphony, and every time that big old gong went off, these savage little swamp creatures, they'd turn around and bow at me like I was some kind of emperor with a bad haircut. It was racist as hell, but also I gotta give them credit. The coordination was impressive. For a bunch of 13-year-olds fueled by Mountain Dew and Spite, it was a whole dang performance. Made me feel like I was in some twisted, low-budget racist Cirque du Soleil. But that's the past. We all say dumb stuff. I mean, look at TV. You can say anything on TV these days, especially on Law & Order SVU. They can't say the F word, but they can describe a crime scene with enough detail to make your stomach churn. Anal contusions this, cement and fecal matter in the ear canal that, and it's always Ice-T delivering the line. Ice-T, cop killer looking confused as ever, like he just walked in off the set of Colors. You mean this dude likes pigtails? Yeah, Ice, it's a pedophile. Welcome to the sex crimes unit. Grab a donut and try to keep up. It's like that time they tried to explain sex addiction to him. They're really trying, and Ice-T finally gets it. He's looking all serious, and he says, oh, I get it. You mean like when someone drinks too much or snorts cocaine or bets the house on the ponies? I almost choked on my water. I was praying they'd just let him keep going. Just name every vice he could think of. Or like when someone eats too much fried chicken, or watches too much reality TV, or collects porcelain dolls. Just fade out. Created by Dick Wolf. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of TV I want to see. So yeah, almost 30. Seen something, called some names, dodged the quicksand. Maybe it's time to start collecting porcelain dolls. Or maybe just keep watching Ice-T solve crimes. Either way, it's going to be one hell of a ride. Just try not to bet the house on the ponies, All right. Settle down now, you beautiful bunch of weirdos. Let me tell you something. Growing up in Louisiana, we had this neighbor, Mr. Thibodeau. God rest his soul. Looked like a thumb with eyebrows, I swear. This man, he only ate mayonnaise sandwiches every single day. Mayonnaise. Just mayonnaise. I asked him once, Mr. Thibodeau, why are you living like this? You're a human being, not a condiment factory. He just smiled, this little thumb man, and said, Theo, boy, you got to simplify. Life's complicated enough. Don't be adding no jelly to the equation. And that stuck with me like kudzu on a rusted-out Ford pickup, Simplify. Which brings you to, well, everything, really. See, people are out here complexifying everything. Take data privacy, for instance. Seems simple, right? Keep your stuff safe. Don't let the lizard people in Silicon Valley sell your grocery list to the Russians. But no, it's all algorithms and encryption and GDPR. Sounds like a disease you get from kissing a swamp creature. It's like they took Mr. Thibodeau's mayonnaise sandwich and turned it into a 7-course meal with foam and microgreens. Nobody even knows what they're eating anymore. So we got these companies, it's collecting all this information. Every time you like a cat video, every time you Google how to remove a tick, they're tracking it, building a profile. It's like they're trying to build a perfect replica of your brain, but with more ads for foot fungus cream. And they say, oh, it's for a better user experience. Sure it is, just like when your grandma says she's pinching your cheeks because she loves you, but, she's just checking to see if you got enough meat on your bones. And then there's the government. They want to get in on the action, too, keeping us safe from terrorists, ninjas, the Amish mafia. Who knows? But the point is, everybody wants your data, and nobody's asking if you even want to share it. That's like showing up at a potluck with only a Tupperware full of your dirty laundry. Nobody asked for that, Brenda. So what do we do? Do we just throw our hands up and say, fine, take my soul?
Amazon.
So I'm already wearing your underwear anyway. No, that ain't the Cajun way. We gotta be like that gator in the bayou, looking all slow and sleepy, but ready to snap your hand off if you get too close. We gotta demand transparency, know what they're collecting, how they're using it, and have the right to say, hold up, partner, that's my brain you're messing with. And it ain't got nothing you need unless you're looking for directions to the nearest crawfish boil. 'Cause at the end of the day, your data is your data, just like your mayonnaise sandwich is your mayonnaise sandwich. Unless Mr. Thibodeau comes along and asks for a bite, then you just got to share because he might be a thumb with eyebrows, but he's still your neighbor, and that's just how we do these in Louisiana. Man, I remember growing up back in Louisiana, we had this neighbor, Cletus. Bless his heart. He thought he was a professional frog giggler. I swear wore camo overalls every bend day, even to church, which, kind of makes sense because you're already halfway dressed for baptism, right? Anyway, Cletus was always going on about the greatest fears of frogs, like they were sitting around a lily pad confessional booth, spilling their guts. And that's kind of how this whole thing started. See, I was doing this special, right, with like 15 kids, little ankle biters between 8 and 13. And I thought it'd be hilarious to write jokes from their perspective. Like if a bunch of mini Maz were suddenly dropped into my life running around quoting Mitch Hedberg and trying to bum cigarettes. But my pal America Sawyer, who used to sling jokes at SNL, she was all about getting real, asking the hard questions, the kind of stuff that keeps you up at night. Like, is mayonnaise an instrument? Or why does the alphabet have to be in that order? So we figured, let's ask these kids what they're afraid of, expecting the usual boogeyman, maybe a rogue Tickle Me Elmo incident. But then, bam, they're talking about stuff way beyond their years, like climate change, societal collapse, and the existential dread of choosing the wrong TikTok filter, which, honestly, I understand. That shit's terrifying. I swear it was like eavesdropping on a tiny philosopher's convention. Suddenly, Cletus's frog fear theories didn't seem so far-fetched. One kid even said he was afraid of running out of V-Bucks. I swear to God, I almost choked on my LaCroix. It was like, these kids ain't scared of no tarantula. They're worried about digital apocalypses and the impending doom of dial-up internet coming back, which, I gotta admit, that's a legit fear. But then you see them all dressed up in their little suits and gowns at the premiere, demanding black tie like they're running the damn Met Gala, and you realize they're still kids, just with slightly more sophisticated anxieties. And then, of course, there's the Alanis Morissette cover, You Ought to Know, but just the appropriate parts, which, yeah, maybe my mistake for not realizing those parts might not be the best choice for a child to say, or that time when I was asking him to fill in the blank. America has a lot of work, and this kid, little Alex Bello, without missing a beat, says work to do, and you're like, damn, even the kids are woke now. I ain't got no kids myself, never wanted them, and I even had a whole conversation with these kids about it, explaining how I love my free time and my wife. And then the next day, my wife shows up on set, and this one girl, Camille, bless her heart, turns to me and asks, dead serious, does your wife know you don't want kids? And I'm like, well, shit, maybe Cletus was right. Sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones you ain't expecting. All right, folks, so there was this dude, right? Always late. Like, consistently late. The kind of late that makes you think he's got a side hustle as a time traveler messing with the Cretaceous period. And we'd be on his case. Even when he was pushing 40, he'd blame the traffic, which, come on, traffic's just God's way of saying slow down, enjoy the scenery, maybe find a possum to befriend. But nah, this fellow was traffic's nemesis, always battling the asphalt demons. And it got me thinking, it's tough asking someone to admit their flaws. Like, imagine my funeral, all sunshine and rainbows. Not a single mention of my rotten prince tendencies, which, let's be honest, I could be a real dillweed sometimes. Not intentionally, mind you, but like a puppy with a chainsaw, all enthusiasm and accidental carnage. And you're probably thinking, Theo, were you secretly mad when I called you out? Nah, man, I appreciate the honesty, like a good back scratch on a sunburn. It hurts so good. And I know, sometimes I was holding in a full-blown toddler tantrum during the show, but hey, sleep deprivation's a torture method for a reason. It turns you into a grumpy raccoon hoarding shiny objects. And I gotta give it to you, you had this zen-like ability to just chill, even when I was being a grade-A knucklehead, which made me wonder, were other folks mad at me too? It's the not knowing that kills you, like being stuck in a room full of mannequins. Are they judging me? Are they planning a revolt? Who the heck knows? But that restraint, that poker face, it's a superpower, useful for business negotiations, or poker, which, let's be real, I'd be terrible at. I'd be like a toddler playing with dynamite.
all clueless enthusiasm, showing my hand with every goofy grin. But my dad, bless his heart, gave me the best advice for dealing with those situations. He said, "Son, if you don't like what someone's saying, just shut your trap, let them talk." Then absolute silence, and they'll crack like a walnut under a sledgehammer. They'll start backpedaling, offering you the moon just to break the tension, 'cause people hate silence more than they hate Brussels sprouts. It's a powerful weapon, that silence. And I realized, days, that's what he did to us kids when we wanted to watch R-rated movies. Can I see Rambo? Silence. Are you still there? Uh-huh. More silence. And boom, bedtime foiled again. So when my time comes, I want my eulogy to be real. Flaws and all, someone gotta say, Theo loved life. He really did. Like a Labrador with a tennis ball. Pure unadulterated joy. And sure, I'm speaking in the past tense, but hey, I'm still kicking. Thanks for that, by the way. And if I was at your funeral, the thing I'd say, well, that's the next question, ain't it? It reminds me, you said like folks is happy for my success because you know it's deserved and because I'm a good guy, and I was always so supportive of others, especially at SNL, and you said I had impeccable comedy taste, which is kind. You think all this time at gas stations and backwoods bars gave me tame. You said my kind words are gracious, and boy, my life's been richer since I met you, and you recommended me for that writing job, which means I owe you for changing my life. Like Werner Herzog said, I don't know if people change each other's lives, but you made my life better. It's like being a comedian picking up rocks on the ground, and you said, do you want to go to the moon? And I love every conversation we have, but the last question, it's ever seen a ghost? I ain't seen no ghost. Maybe I should start asking that at parties. Picture this. A high school kid at a dance. All awkward angles and nervous energy, sidles up to a girl, stares intensely and whispers, you ever seen a ghost? Is that what girls want to hear? Would that be enough to seal the deal? Cut to them making out. Bang. That's a romantic comedy right there. No, I'm normally at a rando table, and I ask and find out a dead person whose soul or spirit is ghoulish and haunting, which is a terrible icebreaker. And I say, how is everyone? You ever seen a ghost? And folks think it's me and I'm the ghost. They say you have now, and it's all weird like that. So maybe that's the end, and we should end with the cast of Sneakers again, like we got it right this time, or wait for it, the sequel.
All right, folks. So growing up in Louisiana, right, we had this one neighbor, Cletus, real character, always wore a coonskin cap. Even in July, looked like Daniel Boone went bankrupt. Started selling fireworks out of his trailer. Anyway, Cletus was convinced aliens were stealing his garden gnomes. Like every week, another gnome gone, vanished, and he'd blame it on them dang space critters. Now, I ain't saying Cletus was wrong, but he also thought Mountain Dew was a health food, so, you know, grain of salt. And it reminds me of these new Nazis popping up, acting like they just discovered hating folks. See, back in my day, Nazi was just something your mom called you when you wouldn't clean your room. Like, Theo, you're being a real Nazi about these Legos, not some actual belief system. These new ones, though, they got this whole thing about Jews ruining everything. And I'm like, hold on a dang minute. My wife, Anna, she's Jewish. I married into this thing. I got the official decoder ring. I know the truth. And let me tell you, blaming the Jews for everything is like blaming Cletus's missing gnomes on the aliens. Maybe check the raccoons first, you know. Speaking of Anna, I was telling her the other day, I said, honey, we've been hitched for like 3.5 years now. You cool if I still crack jokes about you on stage? And she just shrugs and says, yeah, go ahead. Just don't say I'm a bitch and you don't like me. I almost choked on my sweet tea. The bar is so low. It's practically underground. I mean, that's it. That's the limit. A show about how I hate my wife would be a damn disaster. It'd be like a men's support group hosted by John Voight and Alec Baldwin. Yikes. No thanks. Truth is, Anna is a bitch. A dynamite 5-foot Jewish bitch, and I love her to death. We're polar opposites. She walks around like she's immune to opinions, doesn't give a hoot what anyone thinks. It's beautiful. I, on the other hand, need everyone to like me all the time. It's exhausting. She says being with me is like dating a mayor running for the Mayor of Nothing award. We went to Best Buy the other day to get a TV. Didn't even get the TV. I was too worried the sales guy would be mad. So I bought an HDMI cable, just to smooth things over. Anna's standing there, stone-faced. The guy asks if I have a Best Buy rewards card. I say no, but I wish, and she just walks off full-on Blair Witch style, disappears into the laser printer aisle. I'm left standing there like a dang fool. The guy tries again, want a rewards card? I say no, even though I just implied it's my greatest desire, 'cause I'm picturing telling him I'm trapped in a loveless marriage with little Miss Jesus Christ, who won't let me achieve my true potential. So one day I'm gonna leave her and finally get that dang rewards card, and she's all like, Jesus Christ, Theo, you're never getting that rewards card. See, that's the Catholic versus Jewish thing. I was raised Catholic, she was raised Jewish, two different worlds. We were talking about it the other day, not about kids though, because we ain't having those. Everyone always asks. And I'm like, I don't know, never is a long time. 14 years ago, I smoked cocaine the night before college graduation. Now I'm afraid to get a flu shot, so who knows what tomorrow will bring. Maybe I'll finally get that Best Buy rewards card after all. All right, folks. So I was down in Loringer, Louisiana, right? Place so small, the Walmart's got a drive-through window for your prescriptions and maybe some crawfish etouffee. Anyway, my buddy Dale, bless his heart, he's trying to name his kid and he's stuck. He wants something unique, something that'll make his kid stand out. I said, Dale, you name that kid refrigerator, he's gonna stand out. All right, stand out in the principal's office every dang day. But it got me thinking about names. See, like how important is a name really? This whole Emmy thing reminds me of it. This comedian, John Mulaney, right, wins an Emmy, which is like winning the Super Bowl for people who tell jokes instead of throwing balls in some website deadline. They mess up his name. They call him Jew Open like he's a new medication for toe fungus or something. Reminds me of my Aunt Shirley. She's got every ailment known to man. She'd try anything with Jew in the name. Now, I know John, I've known him for a bit and I can vouch he's a Mulaney, single L, folks, messing up a name. It's like mispronouncing someone's gumbo recipe. It's just wrong, you know? And then they get another detail wrong. It's like adding pineapple to a chili. It just shouldn't happen. Like calling someone Mulvaney, it just feels wrong. Feels like something the New York Post would yell out with big, bold letters right next to an expose of my big throbbing vein. It's almost like stealing a moment, right? John wins this Emmy, big deal. Then someone proposes. That's like ordering the only steak in a restaurant. Then when it comes out, they put a dang onion ring on it. I just hope John doesn't feel like some crawfish that just barely got pulled out the pot when the fire went out. Now, I'm no expert on names. Hell, my own mama probably regrets what she named me, but I know a Mulaney when I see one. Sounds kind of like a brand of artisanal soap you buy in Brooklyn, to be honest. And messing up Mulaney, that's just Loranger level ignorance, and that's saying something. What is it with those coastal elites messing with people's name? I bet they think a boudin ball is a fancy dessert. Man. College, right? I swear. I just got a letter from my alma mater. Felt like Christmas morning, kind of, you know, until I opened that sucker up. Said, hey, Theo, remember us. We're the reason you're in debt. Just kidding, mostly. Then they hit me with this line, and I'm paraphrasing here because I threw the damn thing in the trash after, but it was basically, hey, cough up some dough. We want a gift, but, you know, only if it jingles. Now, I'm no mathematician, but back when I was slurping ramen in that glorified daycare, I was forking over about 15 grand a semester, twice a year for 4 years. Do the math, folks. That's like 120,000 clams. I practically bought the damn library. So, excuse my French, but are you telling me that after I essentially funded a small African nation's GDP with my tuition, you got the audacity, the sheer nerve to ask for more? What is this, a hostage situation? I feel like I'm dealing with my cousin Gary. You know, Gary showed up to Thanksgiving wearing a wife beater asking for 20 bucks for gas, even though his car's been up on blocks in the yard since the I-2K.
Where's that money even go, college?
Did you build a solid gold statue of the dean? Is there a secret underground bowling alley I never knew about? I bet it all went into those stupid study abroad programs where kids go to Italy and take pictures of pizza. Meanwhile, I'm eating ketchup packets in the library, trying to decipher Shakespeare with a hangover the size of Louisiana. I got buddies, they're all, Theo, be a good alum. Donate. They even wear the college t-shirt like they're still trying to impress their RA. Look, if you're a grown man still sending money to your old college, that's like still paying your ex-girlfriend's rent. She ain't coming back, buddy. You're just enabling her kombucha habit. That college, that's a $120,000 hooker and you fell in love with her. In the letter, they were all like, it's been a while since you donated. I felt like firing back. It's been a while since you housed and educated me. I thought we had a deal. I gave you my money. You gave me a piece of paper and a crippling sense of inadequacy, but they gave me this cinder block room, smelled like stale beer and regret, covered in a Reservoir Dogs poster and the first real heartbreak of my life and probably HPV. And that's it. That's the ROI? Man, what even is college? Seriously, somebody tell me, because I went and I still ain't got a clue. I was 18, looked like a thumb with hair, living like a Ninja Turtle on a diet of cigarettes, Adderall and Natty Light. It was a 4-year-long game show. Do my friends hate me or do I just need to sleep? But instead of winning money, you just lose a fortune. And the kicker? I agreed to this deal when I was 17, no lawyer present, wearing sweatpants with pizza sauce on the knee. That's gotta be illegal, right? They tricked me like Brendan Dassey on Making a Murderer, pulled me out of high school, two guys in clip-on ties like, come on, son, do the right thing, sign here, you'll be an English major. And I fell for it, an English major. 120 grand so some professor could tell me to read Jane Austen and then I didn't. Y'all can laugh, but that's the worst financial decision I ever made, and I once bought a used jet ski from a guy named Bubba who claimed it was slightly haunted. Man, growing up in Louisiana, we had this neighbor, Mr. Thibodeau, smelled perpetually like boiled crawfish and regret. Always wore a wife beater, 3 sizes too small. You know, the kind that showed off his pecs, if you could call them that. More like deflated whoopee cushions. And he was obsessed with this one thing, figuring out which character he was in the Dukes of Hazzard. Like, was he Bo, Luke, maybe even Roscoe P. Coltrane chasing those boys down, right? And it got me thinking, see, now folks are at home binge watching these Real Housewives shows. Like my buddy Mulaney here, bless his heart, he's deep into the New York chapter. And he's trying to figure out where he'd fit in, what kind of drama he'd stir up, but it's like, nobody on those shows ever apologizes, you know? It's like, if I told Seth here he looked like a scarecrow stuffed with dryer lint, showed to events like a lovesick golden retriever, he's going to be hot. And I'd just be like, hey, let's put this behind us, you feel me? We good? And give him one of those shoulder hugs where you barely make contact. That's how them housewives do it, and it's wild because they're all so aware they're on TV. Like back in 2009, they'd be filming near like 1st and 70th, and they'd be arguing, right? And one lady'd be all, I don't want to share that. And the other ones be like, girl, we're on a reality show. Spill the sweet tea. And they got skinny girl margarita signs everywhere because they're all marketing themselves like performing monkeys in a tiny hat, which is kind of genius, right? Because you got to respect the hustle, but it also makes you wonder what parts of their lives are real and what parts are just a performance for the camera. You know, like, is that genuine outrage or is it just them practicing their Emmy Award acceptance speech in the mirror? Because either way, it's getting views and making money, so maybe Mr. Thibodeau was right. Maybe we're all just characters in somebody else's reality show, just trying to figure out our lines and hoping we don't get canceled or worse, become a meme, which at least he never smelled like boiled crawfish most. All right, settle down, y'all. Let me mail you something. Grew up in this town, see, smaller than a gnat's patootie, where the biggest excitement was when the Dollar General got a new shipment of off-brand cheese puffs. My mama, bless her heart, she used to say I had the social skills of a feral cat. Which, fair enough, because I preferred hanging with the stray dogs down by the creek, trying to teach them Shakespeare, because, you know, even mutts deserve a little culture. One time, I swear, I saw Old Blue, hound dog, with one ear missing. I swear he almost understood Hamlet's soliloquy, or maybe he just wanted a biscuit. Hard to tell with dogs. They're kind of like politicians, always looking for something. But, see, that's how I always been. Connecting dots that ain't even close to each other, like trying to make a gourmet meal out of roadkill and ketchup packets, which, by the way, I actually tried once, don't recommend it. Anyway, all that to say, folks are always asking, Theo, how do you do it? How do you find the funny in everyday life? And I tell them it's like finding a 4-leaf clover in a cow pasture. You got to wade through a whole lot of crap first. Which brings me to this thing about, like, people feeling disconnected. Like they're wandering through life wearing, socks with sandals, just completely missing the mark, you know? See, we're all just searching for something, a connection, a purpose, maybe just a decent Wi-Fi signal, but we get so caught up in the noise, the Instagram filters and the political arguments that sound like two squirrels fighting over a walnut. We forget to look around and see the actual real deal beauty, the goofy, imperfect, beautifully flawed human connections all around us. And we're so caught up in trying to be somebody else. Some Instagram influencer with a butt the size of a small car and a life that's probably as fake as a $3 bill, that we miss out on the chance to be ourselves, warts and all. Because let me tell you something, those warts, those flaws, those weird quirks that make you, you are the things that people actually connect with. That's the 4-leaf clover. That's the good stuff. That's what makes life worth living. Even if you are wearing socks with sandals. And maybe, just maybe, especially if you are, because, hey, at least you're comfortable. And that's more than most people can say. And at the end of the day, ain't that what it's all about? Being comfortable in your own skin, even if it's covered in mosquito bites and smells faintly of fertilizer. Just own it. Be you. Be weird. Be wonderful. And for the love of Pete, stop taking selfies with duck faces. Nobody wants to see that, unless you're actually a duck. Then go wild, quack it up, baby. Quack it up. Man, let me tell you, back in Tickfall, Louisiana, we had this fella, Cletus, thought he was a dang rooster, crowed every morning at 4 a.m. sharp, woke up the whole dang town. But seeing these old photos reminded me of something equally bizarre, you know? Like here I am looking all young and spry with Simon Rich and America Ferrera, writing these dirty sketches for SNL, practically living in that writer's room, fueled by stale coffee and desperation. It was like wrangling a greased pig at a church picnic. I swear Seth Meyers would pop his head in like a curious raccoon, peeking into your trash can. Then he'd give us that, no look. You know, that polite but soul-crushing disapproval only a head writer can deliver. We even cooked up a Thanksgiving card with a picture of us, looking all festive and innocent, said Happy Thanksgiving Seth on the front. Then you open it up and it just says we each other. Real classy stuff, reminded me of the time I tried to teach my hound dog Blue to play poker. Didn't work out too well, he kept eating the chips. Anyway, seeing that drag brunch sketch written by this comedic genius named James Anderson. Funniest dude I ever met. No offense to Cletus the Rooster. This guy was a goddamn comedy savant. He'd waltz into the rewrite room oblivious to what we'd been slaving over for hours, and drop some truth bomb joke that was funnier than everything we had combined. Pure funny bones. I tell ya, like he was hooked up to some divine comedic mainframe, just spouting perpsies and comedic gold. Being in that sketch wearing heels on concrete felt like walking on hot coals after a Sunday service at the Pentecostal church. Shout out to the costume department though, they worked them heels low and stable, they judged based. So there's no tears in the hips cause you know, as a modern comedian I can't be falling. Gave me a whole new appreciation for drag queens. And for finally just saying come on, let's get a cab even if Uber's 4 minutes away. Made me feel like a calf just took its first dang steps. All wobbly and disoriented, you know, and Diner Lobster, that sketch was like a fever dream. I had after eating too many crawfish etouffee back in Louisiana, wrote it in college when I was the head of writing. Imagine that, me, a responsible adultish human, leading a room full of writers. Who'd have thought it, but I was like, nah, I'm saving it, like holding on to a winning lottery ticket, waiting for the right moment. The host was supposed to be Galifianakis, but man, Keenan took that and elevated it. And Les Mis as a child. Oh lordy, I was in. It had drama, love, death, all the good stuff. And we turned it into a lobster's lament. How could you not? But now, people keep mistaking me for the Flash and I ain't saying I look like him, but they keep going. Oh, like, they halfway seeing it like I'm some kind of superhero disguised as a simple country comedian. But I ain't the Flash, I swear. I was at the dog park with my mutt. And this kid straight out of Central Casting comes up with that flash accent. And his grandma, she's giving me the stink eye, like I'm betraying her grandson's superhero fantasies. Then some fella comes up, says he's a fan of my stand-up right at that moment. Just perfect timing. And the grandma's face drops. Pure disgust, it was like watching a souffle deflate. She shook her head like I was a fraud. No, you are not the Flash, like I'd personally stolen Christmas. So I get home, tell my wife Anna, this whole saga, and she just looks at me deadpan and says, so let me get this straight. Your two problems are that a fan said he likes your work, and that people think you look like a 25-year-old handsome actor. Who, by the way, you don't look like women, man, they always cut straight to the heart of the matter. Makes you wonder if she's secretly the Flash too, or maybe even Cletus the Rooster in disguise, crowing at me in the morning with a different kind of, oh.
Lucy, Cruikshank Trichiljo Frenol for API. All right. Settle down now, folks. Let me tell you something. Grew up in a town so small, the church picnic was the biggest news of the year. Used to be this fella, Cletus, bless his heart, he thought he was a squirrel. Not like, oh, I like acorns, but full-on tree climbing, nut hoarding kind of squirrel. One time, Cletus tried to bury me alive in a pile of leaves because he said I was a rival nut gatherer. That's when I learned, folks, life's a whole lot like a possum in a grocery store parking lot. You never know what kind of mess you're going to get into. Which brings me to John Mulaney. Remember that guy? Amy Winner, Netflix star of the whole shebang. He's playing Madison Square Garden, for crying out loud. But see, Seth Meyers, that sneaky devil, he's got to grill him about his outfits. Mulaney walks out looking like he just wrestled a bear and lost, and Myers is all, where's the suit, Johnny boy? It's like confronting a raccoon for eating your garbage. You know it's wrong, but you secretly admire the audacity. But apparently some folks intervened on Mulaney a while back, said his life was spiraling. And I ain't one to judge. Everyone's got their own brand of crazy, but it just seems a tad extreme to critique a man's fashion sense while he's, dealing with stuff. Myers wants him in a suit, says he looks like he raided the Gap after a bad date. It's like saying a dog wearing pants is civilized, but it's still gonna sniff your crotch, ain't it? Mulaney's like, fine, I'll put on a suit, but you ain't taking me to no fancy tailor. He figures Myers should have had a car waiting, ready to whisk him away for a 2-month fitting. Imagine that, Mulaney, trapped in a tailor shop, surrounded by pins and fabrics like a hummingbird in a butterfly net. Then Myers starts miking the jacket real serious, like reminiscing about that talk show he co-hosted where apparently they were Saris in bad dress, and that's, man. Picking on a man's wardrobe is like kicking a pregnant mule, just ain't right. Mulaney, looking like a hostage in a department store mannequin's outfit, says he feels happier. Myers throws in a tie because, television demands conformity. It's like putting a hat on a chicken. It doesn't make it any smarter, just funnier to look at. Then they get to fatherhood. Mulaney's got a 7-month-old Malcolm, apparently a connoisseur of self-inflicted selfie videos. He also claims the kid got him gifts for Father's Day, and that Malcolm insisted he wears a damn suit to 30 Rock. Kids these days are getting bossy. Myers tries to relate, mentions his own baby, then they hit the formula shortage. Oh, Lord, that's when things get real. Mulaney, channeling his inner drug dealer, admits his old instincts kicked in. Fake driver's licenses, Mr. Mustache disguise pretending to be an old Vietnamese lady, all for baby Fago. It's like watching a penguin try to climb a ladder, it's not going to work, but you can't help but admire the effort. And the Amazon stuff, shady as it is, as car salesman's handshake. Mulaney actually tasted the formula to make sure it was the real deal. Now that, folks, that's dedication. It's the kind of parenting that makes you wonder what's next. Maybe teaching the kid how to hotwire a car to get to the diaper aisle faster. It just goes to show whether you're wrestling bears, getting fashion advice from Seth Meyers, or navigating the baby formula black market. Life's a wild ride, and sometimes all you can do is dip your finger in and hope it's the real enzyme, you know what I'm saying? All right, settle down, y'all. I'm gonna tell you something. See, I had this buddy back home, Cletus, bless his heart. Cletus thought he was John Mulaney's cousin or something. He'd walk around yelling sack lunch bunch, like he invented sliced bread. The sack lunch bunch. Cletus couldn't rhyme if you glued a dictionary to his forehead. Reminded me of that time I tried to teach my grandma's Chihuahua Pee-wee to play the harmonica. Disaster. So anyway, Mulaney calls it the sack lunch bunch, and Cletus is running around like he invented it. I remember when I was a latchkey kid, back when that was a bad thing. Like, the news would show these sad kids looking lonely, and I'm over here living my best life, watching He-Man and eating peanut butter straight from the jar. They acted like us latchkey kids were going to burn the house down or join a cult. But we were just trying to survive on TV dinners and the wisdom of the Thundercats. And Mulaney's got the sack lunch bunch with 2 words rhyming, which is about as much rhyming as Cletus can manage after a 6-pack of Mountain Dew. They got Eli Bolin doing the music, and tell you what, that's just plain beautiful. I wrote a song with Justin Timberlake once, won an Emmy. Now the ballad said Justin Timberlake song, and below it was Mother Lover, which was a banger. I'm telling you, it was like those confusing ballads they got down in Palm Beach, Florida. Like Justin Timberlake's song, then a way more famous Justin Timberlake song. People probably voted for the wrong one. That's why I always tell people to just vote for the guy. I have the best hat. Grandma's boyfriend, Paul. Now there's a tune for you. And noodles and a little bit of butter. I think that's my kind of fancy eating. Then there's Do Flowers Exist at Night. That right there, that hits me in the feels. Mulaney says he can't picture a flower at night, and honestly, neither can I. I lay in bed thinking about that stuff. What about those tulips in front of my house when I was 9? What were they doing at night? Were they sleeping? Were they plotting against me? My brain is just a swamp of weird thoughts. If you worked with kids on set, which, Lord have mercy, my friend Dr. Kitty McPotch always says, never work with children and animals. Kitty McPotch, yeah, she treats kids and animals, probably seen it all. But Mulaney, he don't dead on. He's got 15 kids, and they're all hyped up, supporting each other, more mature than the folks at SNL. Bless their hearts. But those kids get riled up, yelling toilet mark at the clapboard, and Reese Thomas, the director, who's worked with everyone, asks them if they behave like that at school. And one kid goes, "We don't go to school. That's how you know you're in trouble." Richard Kine's in it too, a legend. But Mulaney wanted Michael Dukakis. Dukakis, back when I was 6, he was huge. Mulaney wanted Dukakis to deliver a letter and be cheered for 30 seconds straight. Now that's the kind of comedy I like. He didn't get a script because Mulaney was delaying. Poor Dukaki's forgotten. We all forgot about him. Half the country wanted him president, and they just banished him. All I remember is him riding around on that tank with the helmet on, looking like a confused turtle. And that was bad. They made him look like an idiot. And it's like nowadays, if Mulaney ran for president, they just take that pediatrician vet joke, slow it down, and be like, look at this idiot, and he'd be done for. Still over you, John Mulaney. All right. All right. Settle down, folks. Let me tell you something. Grew up in Louisiana. See, around these guys who thought camouflage was formal wear, you know? Had this buddy Earl, sweetest guy, but dumber than a box of rocks. One time, Earl swore he saw Bigfoot riding a lawnmower down by the bayou. Swear to God. Earl believed anything. But you know what Earl wouldn't believe? Crime documentaries. Nah, he'd rather watch squirrels fight over a pecan. Yeah, I love him. Always have. Even had a date once. Beautiful girl. Real sweet until she dropped the bomb that her daddy was all over the John Benet Ramsey case. I swear I forgot all about the date. Just peppered her with questions about the case. Poor girl probably thought I was a weirdo. No second date, naturally. Always wanted to solve a crime, though felt like my calling, kind of like how Earl felt about Bigfoot. So a few months back, I'm home from tour and, recreating from shaking hands and pretending to care about other people's problems. I go outside and my rave for Blessed Be Its Name. It's been violated. Not like a Gone Girl situation, but still, someone had rummaged through it. And get this, they left a hat, a freaking baseball cap. Aha. I yell like I'm finally catching a greased pig at the county fair. I'd been burglarized before, but this was evidence. So I run inside, grab my surgical gloves. Yeah, I own surgical gloves, don't judge. And a Ziploc bag. Dimmered something about Dennis Fong messing up the DNA in the OJ case because it got too warm. I wasn't going to be no Dennis Fong ruining evidence with the California sunshine. I carefully bagged that hat, CSI style, even though my car's interior looks like a hobo's backpack after a tornado. Then I stuck that sucker in the fridge, right next to the wilting lettuce, and my wife's leftover quinoa salad she keeps telling me is good. Called the LAPD, stood out front like Deputy Fife, waiting for the cavalry, thinking, don't worry, fellas, Von's on the case. They show up, these two cops looking like they'd rather be eating donuts, ask, what's the situation? I tell them about the break-in. They ask if the window was broken. I told them, nah, I leave it unlocked now because these LA thugs gonna bust a window if I don't. And that's just rude. So they ask what was stolen, and I told them I have no earthly idea what's in my car. It's basically a rotating museum of forgotten sunglasses, old snack wrappers, and my wife's collection of crystals she swear keeps the demons away, but I suspect mostly collects dust under the seat. I say, but this time we gotta break in the case. I led them inside like I'm leading tourists through a creepy haunted house, pulled out the hat like I'm present in the Mona Lisa. He left his hat, I exclaim. Yeah. They're like, okay. I ask if they can run it through CODIS, like on Law & Order. Get a hit on the perp. They look at me like I'm speaking Swahili. Why would we do that, they ask. I'm floored, because he committed a crime. They were like, barely. You left the car open, nothing was stolen, maybe trespassing, but we ain't running no national DNA search over that. I was flabbergasted. Then like a bolt of lightning hitting a cow pasture, it hit me. I told them, you can frame it as the guy gave you a hat. A thoughtful yet misguided gift from a budding criminal. I am real glass half full type guy, you see. They still didn't budge. Full. I told them, look, this could escalate. It's a there for tomorrow it's an escalade. Then a whole HOA community watch group is dead in the ditch. But I say, Manson, and I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but he was a lousy guy, right? He started small, creeping around people's houses. Then he got big ideas. So I ask, don't you want this guy's DNA on file before he graduates from petty theft to start a podcast about murdering people in his basement? They were like, what file? What are you talking about? And I said, the one where you keep the DNA of potential murderers. They said the only way they'd need his DNA profile is if, and I jumped in, if he murders somebody. And then I remembered that sometimes serial killers like to help the police, So I just kept talking about this guy in the third person like he was some kind of criminal mastermind. He's cunning, I said, but he will be back. Then I remembered my friend down the street. Her car got broken into too. I told the cops, go talk to her. Tell her to say something was stolen just to get that hat back in the national system, which apparently is framing someone for a crime. But hey, I'm willing to bend the rules to get these guys behind bars. So if you're out there, car thief, know this, you messed with the wrong RAV4. You'll quickly realize I have no valuables, maybe some spare beef jerky and a lot of regret for ordering that weird coffee from the airport and a bunch of dirt on the carpet. Oh, and that's my dirt. So folks, that's the story of how I almost became a forensic genius. But hey, at least I got a good story out of it. And speaking of good stories, Big Mouth is back. It's based on Nick Kroll and Andrew Goldberg's friendship, and it's fantastic. I get to voice Andrew alongside my very good friend Nick Kroll. It's a fantastic show, and I'm excited to announce its second season. All right, how y'all doing? That's what I like to hear. Yeah, TheoVon here. Let me tell you something. Grew up in the sticks, Louisiana. We had this old hound dog, Blue. Sweetest thing, but dumber than a box of rocks, I swear. He'd chase his tail till he passed out, then wake up and do it again. Just pure unadulterated joy in that dog's heart. Reminds me of my cousin Earl, bless his soul anyway. Saw some fancy water backstage, thought I'd grab a sip. Next thing you know, sploosh right down the front of my pants, looking like I just lost a battle with my bladder. And you know what's crazy? We're all so worried about looking like we peed ourselves. Like it's the ultimate social faux pas, but let me tell you, nobody's intentionally rocking the pee-stained pants look. Like, yeah, just gonna let this soak in. Air dry. Adds character. Nah, if it happens, it's an accident. A momentary lapse of judgment. Like driving a tractor through a car wash, you just gotta own it. And besides, pee's like that fire in backdraft, it goes where it wants. It's got a mind of its own, seeping down your leg, pulling in your shoe. A real abstract expressionist masterpiece. But that got me thinking. You ever see them folks in the bathroom, hovering under the hand dryer, scorching their nether regions like they're trying to deep fry a chicken? Ain't nobody got time for that. And that water wasn't water, 'cause it just kept humming like a leaky faucet, which is a sign. I'm getting older. 43 now, which is weird, 'cause I just got carded at Cracker Barrel, but my knee sounds like a bowl of Rice Krispies. Makes me think of these awards, you know, we give them out, feel good, raise some money, but it's like, who really deserves it? You know, like in Willy Wonka, Charlie gets the golden ticket, takes Grandpa Joe, and everybody's cheering. But what about Grandpa George, huh? Laying in that bed, looking like a prune, getting passed over for the guy who suddenly remembers how to walk after 4. Grandpa Joe, that walrus-mustached con artist, lying in bed while they sing Cheer Up Charlie, that song that sounds like a funeral dirge, while his mama makes laundry soup. It ain't right. It ain't fair. It's like award shows where some folks get the golden ticket, and others are left eating dust. And honestly, that reminds me of that hound dog Blue. He never got any awards, just chased his tail and barked at squirrels, but he was happy as a clam. Maybe that's the real award, just finding your own damn tail to chase. Now ain't that something? All right. Settle down, folks, settle down. So growing up in Slaughter, Louisiana, you wouldn't believe the nicknames. I weren't exactly tall. See, more like compact. One dude, Cousin Earl, bless his heart, he'd yell across the Piggly Wiggly, "Hey, Theo, I can't believe it's that big," referencing my personality, I guess. Wasn't the height, but the sheer force of will. You see, like a chihuahua with a Napoleon complex. And that's me. And it got me thinking, all this talk about height, it's bullcrap. Tall folks, bless their hearts, they just conversational advantages like them fancy, overpriced steaks that taste like cardboard. There ain't nothing else special about them. They ain't smarter. They ain't funnier. They sure as hell ain't tougher. I've seen a possum take down a Great Dane. Size ain't everything. People. My grandma used to say, little man, little woman, they the salt of the earth. And she knew she was barely 5'0", could skin a deer faster than you can say sweet tea. So all you short kings and queens out there, rock that height or lack thereof. You're the real MVPs. Reminds me of this fella, DJ can tie his, well, let's just say older gentlemen have some unique talents down there. But seriously, though, height aside, it's about what you bring to the table, not how high you can reach the shelf. It's like Kevin Hart. Love that little dude. He gets all the chicks despite his size. Oh. And party tricks. DJ can tie his balls into a knot. That is his party trick. Reminds me of Santa coming down the chimney. Am I right?
Mm.
Anyways, it all comes down to this. The world's obsessed with superficial stuff. Height, breath, snore, fart. It is always about that. But it's the inside. What kind of heart you got? You feel me? Like this one dude said, the iguana picking up a worm. Who am I compared to that iguana? And I'm up here thinking about Honky Pete as Jumanji League superheroes. It's bonkers. You rather never have sex again, or every time you do, you scream Jumanji.
Jesus Christ. My point is, don't go trying to be something you ain't.
Own your weirdness. Embrace your flaws. Because at the end of the day, that's what makes you you. Whether you are Black Adam or Honky Pete, embrace it. Life's too short to be anything but a little snack size. Denzel, just ask Wayne Johnson with women thighs. And if anybody gives you grief about your height, just tell them to kiss your, well, you know. Just let your little light shine, y'all. Let it shine. And if they still give you trouble, tell them TheoVon sent you. And I'll sick Cousin Earl on him. He may be short, but he's got a big heart and a, well, you know. Anyways, I'm done. I'm going to get some nutty butter and tea with the queen, y'all. See you later, alligator. All right, so check this out. I was back home in Hartsville, South Carolina, where the fireflies are brighter than your future and the church is the main form of entertainment. And my buddy Billy Bob, now Billy Bob, bless his heart, he believed he was a direct descendant of Davy Crockett. Only instead of a coonskin cap, he wore a fedora he found at the Piggly Wiggly Lost and Found, and instead of fighting bears, he wrestled raccoons in his backyard, kept them as pets, named him after country singers, had a whole dang family of Whalens and Tammys living under his porch. Anyway, Billy Bob, he gets it in his head that he's going to start a kissing booth at the county fair, charges a nickel a smooch, says he's got lips touched by the angels, but the only angel touching those lips was probably Aunt Shirley after one too many communion wines. Point is, nobody's paying Billy Bob to kiss him, not even the hogs, which brings me to this Halle Berry thing. See, I got Halle Berry, Academy Award winning Halle Berry on my movie, right? And she's down there and I'm thinking, Kev, you mess around and kiss this woman right now or you're going to regret it till you die, because this isn't just any kiss. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity to experience lips sculpted by the gods, lips that probably taste like, I know, sunshine and privilege. And I almost choked, right? I almost turned down kissing Halle Berry, like telling a waitress you don't want free pie, because I was engaged at the time and I didn't want her thinking I was some kind of heathen or something, like, oh, this dude just used me to get with Halle Berry, what a dirtbag. And she was so sweet, man. Halle Berry's like a unicorn mixed with a bottle of champagne and a dash of sassy grandma. She came on set, killed it, brought a level of magic only Halle Berry can. And I'm there the whole time thinking it was a big deal that she was in my film, and then I realized it was a big deal for her to be in the film because it's Halle Berry doing a version of Halle Berry no one's ever seen, which is the real treasure. But I'm still kicking myself now. Should have just gone for it. Should have risked it all for a taste of those legendary lips. I mean, let's be real. I was sporting lumber the entire time. Felt like I had a dang flagpole down there. I mean, I don't know how to explain it to you. So we got it edited out. Thank God for post-production. But lesson learned, always kiss Halle Berry if given the opportunity, because life is too short to play it safe. And who knows, maybe those lips actually do smell like roses and cinnamon. A real heartbreaker. Anyway, the whole point of the movie is my dog, but now you all are being racist, which isn't good, which you can see in Kevin Hart What Now, only in theaters. So there I was back in Louisiana, right? And my buddy Dale, bless his heart, he's got this theory about lubes. You see, he reckons women got a secret stash, squirrel hiding nuts for winter, but it's KY jelly, man, just waiting for the opportune moment to unleash it. Sneaky like a gator in the swamp, and it all ties into this whole nasty thing because Dale says women got this unlimited supply of it, like bottomless crawfish etouffee, but men were running on fumes, you dig? We start out all fired up, thinking we're going to reinvent the wheel and maybe even mount a brick on the gas pedal and let the car ghost ride while we're out there buck naked, just pure unadulterated Louisiana crazy. But then reality hits like a mosquito the size of a damn hummingbird, and suddenly we're reaching for the blow dryer, trying to figure out how to spice things up because the imagination wells run dry, emptier than a church on Saturday night. And you're thinking, Lord, maybe the cat and the dog can settle this argument, because that's how far gone we get, just grasping at straws, you feel me? Which brings me to this whole double date thing. See, it's a competition, plain and simple, like two roosters in a chicken coop, one little kiss and bam, it's on. She's looking at you like you owe her a damn diamond ring. And the only way to win is to go full tilt boogie, which, let's be honest, ain't always the best course of action, because women, they talk, they share, they dissect. It's like a goddamn autopsy on your relationship, and next thing you know, at least I don't eat ass is flying across the table like a stray firework, and you're sitting there with the U8 ass face contemplating your life choices, wondering how you ended up in this godforsaken mess, wishing you could just disappear into the nearest plate of jambalaya. And then there's
Ray bless his heart always with the damn resume. I got 3 movies coming out. They all hot. Like I give a damn what time it is, D. Ray, I just want to know the time. And then Harry, man, don't even get me started on Harry. He's got more tats than teeth and a whole lot of attitude, telling people not to touch him unless they want to see his other 6 tattoos that represent, I'm not going to say what, but let's just say it involves a dirt nap. All this just to tell you, even though I'm like a Kevin Hart of the South, there is always someone who believes he has more bodies ready to get stacked, so just remember to be kind and tell the crazy man he's looking good and then slowly back away. Oh, and hide your ass.
Man, reminds me of my uncle Earl, God rest his soul, used to cut in line at the Piggly Wiggly something fierce, said he was testing their security, which was just his way of saying he didn't want to wait behind Mrs. Higgins and her 800 coupons anyways. I never really thought much about things I do. Like, I take my youngins to the Six Flags, the whole damn Six Flags. We're talking 30, 40 minutes tops. People look at me like I'm Moses dividing the Red Sea with a fanny pack full of hot dogs. But see, I call ahead, got a concierge, like I'm freaking the queen or something. And this fella just walks us right up to the front of every ride, I'm telling you. Done it for years. And I got to tell my kids, look here, this ain't charity. This ain't some kind of Willy Wonka golden ticket situation. This is your old man worked harder than a one-legged cat in a sandbox to get us to the front of these here lines. But there's rules. See, stricter than my grandma's Baptist potluck, rule number 1. And this is paramount. We're strolling past these folks who've been waiting longer than a possum in a pear tree. You do not, and I repeat, do not make eye contact with these heathens. You hear me? Look straight ahead. Like you're riding a Clydesdale towards the gates of heaven. Don't glance left, don't glance right, because these folks, they're going to unleash the hounds of hell with their words. They're going to say, I look like I smell a wet dog and regret. They're going to say things about you that'll make you want to join the Amish. But you ignore it. You just let that negativity roll off you like water off a duck's back, because here's the truth, son. When we're back in the Yukon headed home, we ain't never going to see these poor souls again. They're going to be stuck in that line, hotter than a jalapeno in July. Probably still arguing about whether the guy with the Mickey Mouse ears cut him off, and honestly, they're probably going to be in a line for the rest of their lives. Ain't that something? Just a line, folks, just a line.
All right, hold on now. Let me tell y'all something. So, I was back home in Louisiana, right? Place flatter than a pancake after Mama Sue sits on it. Which, bless her heart, ain't nobody wanted to see. And my buddy Earl, bless his heart too, kind of simple fella. Earl's got this bucket list, right? Now, most folks, they got traveling the world, skydiving, maybe learning to play the dang harp on their list. Earl wants to learn how to belly dance. Belly dance. I swear I almost spit out my sweet tea. Told him, Earl, you look like a busted refrigerator trying to wiggle, but you go on with your bad self. But it got me thinking about meeting Obama. You know, Bo, as I called him, real, in the White House. Like I told my wife, girl, this my De Niro moment. You better recognize, and how I did my Denzel impression. Chomp chomp. Training day. Nobody clapped. I swear it was racist. Anyways, it was just such a small thing, belly dancing dreams and presidential handshakes, all mixed up like grits and gravy. But the other day it really pissed me off when I saw Cube talking about how I walk. You know, he just stays angry because his top lip never moves. Reminds me of my Uncle Ray. That dude looks like he hasn't had a decent haircut in 5 years. But you know what made me think this is the same Nicole Kidman where she couldn't even clap? She just had boomerangs for hands right there. The point is, folks are so dang worried about these big, grand bucket list items, the things they think are important, that they forget about the little things, like just getting out there, running along the beach like I like to do, but then somebody threw shit at me, literally. But no matter what, folks are so worried about feet, you just got to realize you can't take steps in life without them. And that reminds me, I got some gala ladies coming over to get their feet blessed. It's all connected, see? Belly dancing, the president, bad haircuts, feet. It's all just a bunch of crazy life stuff, and that's just how I feel, like a possum playing dead on a hot asphalt road, hoping nobody mistakes you for a speed bump.
Man, let me tell you something. I get riled up faster than a hound dog chasing a possum up a sycamore tree. It ain't even funny. Like, tiny stuff sets me off. And I ain't talking about global warming or nothing political. Nah, I'm talking about straight up primal disgust. You ever see somebody eating and sweating at the same dang time? I'm talking like barbecue ribs, back porch 98 degrees, just dripping and chomping. I want to throat punch them. I swear to biscuits. Slow down, Earl. Ain't nobody gonna snatch that half-eaten rib out of your greasy mitt. What's the fire?
But all right. That ain't even the main vein of my irritation. No, sir, it's deeper than that. Recently, I've come to this realization, and y'all might not like it, but I ain't sugarcoating nothing for nobody. I ain't got no patience for folks who ain't blessed with the looks. I said it. It's out there. Hang with me now. Don't go throwing tomatoes just yet. See, it ain't about being shallow. It's about the neediness, the constant excuse me. Where's the bathroom? Can you help me with this? Like, I want to treat them like stray cats. Get out of here. Go on, scram. It's just too much, too damn much. Let me paint the picture so you don't think I'm just some backwoods monster. I'm at the bank, right? Normal Tuesday, pulling out of the parking lot. Gotta stop at that little booth, give the fella my ticket. So this dude, bless his heart, slides open the glass, leans out, and this fella could curdle milk with his gaze. But when he sees me, TheoVon, he just lights up like a Christmas tree, practically drooling all over his ugly mug, all up in my face like Kevin Hart running the drive-through. And he's, I ain't letting you out of here till you tell me why you chose us, why you bank with the us. I'm thinking, bro, I got crawfish to boil. I ain't got time for your existential crisis. But he's serious, dead serious, staring right through me. So I say, fine, customer service, loan rate free check in there, happy now? And this is where I almost lost it. He goes, that's all you had to say with your little ugly ass. I said, did you just call me ugly? And he hits the button and I'm gone, fuming. I'm at Chipotle 2 blocks down, lines wrapped around the building, all because of this troll booth encounter. So I'm standing there ready to explode. And this woman behind me says, all sunshine and rainbows. Oh, it's such a beautiful day. I'm about to lose my damn mind, turn around and unload the whole clip. But then I see her. This woman could launch 1,000 ships. I mean, straight up goddess. And suddenly I got all the time in the world. I'm Miss Rogers. You know what? It is a nice day. We need some rain though. Haven't had rain in a minute. And she just turns around and says, I wasn't even talking to you. Oh, hell no. Excuse me. I just got to know what made you choose Chipotle today. Silent. Then she says, I'm not telling you that, immediately making me realize I was the unattractive person in that conversation. And I know y'all probably ain't gonna like hearing this, but I'm telling you, no matter how good you think you look, you probably don't look that good. And the universe will remind you, like my wife, we were watching TV. That little golem monster from Lord of the Rings comes on all twitchy and weird, and she says, oh my god, babe, you do that? I said, bitch, what did you just say to me? Calling me a monster to my face? Is this how you treat people in this house? So I get it now. We're all just Smeagol trying to find his precious, even the beautiful ones, and probably especially the ones who work the bank booth.
Shoot, let me tell y'all something. This private school my youngins go to, it's got me feeling like a scarecrow in a cornfield of egos. Standing there thinking, dang, do they even know I used to sell out comedy shows faster than sweet tea at a Klan rally? I ain't bragging, I'm just being honest. Like that time I found a 2-headed squirrel in my backyard. Weird, but true. Anyway, I'm as humble as a hound dog in a mud puddle, but even a blind squirrel finds a nut sometimes. And these folks gotta act like I'm just another John Deere tractor in the parking lot. So picture this, I'm dropping off little Kevin Jr., and the teachers swarm my Escalade like flies on a honey wagon, right? Mrs. Henderson, bless her heart, comes tapping on the window, all smiles like a possum eating a persimmon. Mr. Hart, she chirps, the annual school fair is coming up and we were hoping you'd consider being our greeter. Now I waited, I gave her the old, are you smoking, cracking your tea stare, but she just blinked back like a newborn calf. Greeter? Me? Kevin sold out stadiums? Hart? I ain't hating on greeters, mind you. They're the unsung heroes of retail, like that Walmart fella that once greeted me so hard I thought I'd accidentally wandered into a gospel revival. Dude slid into my field of vision like he was butter on a hot biscuit, yelled, welcome to Walmart, you here to get you some stuff, and then proceeded to moonwalk away, leaving me questioning the very fabric of reality. I bought extra stuff just to show him some respect and practically broke my neck trying to get him to bless my receipt with his highlighter. True story, ask my Aunt Shirley, she was there. But that's Walmart, folks, where dreams are made of questionable processed foods and inspirational moonwalks. This is a fancy pants private school, the kind where they serve organic kale smoothies at the Bake Bafe. I was selling out arenas plastered on billboards bigger than my Uncle Ray's double wide, and they want me to say howdy, folks, next to a petting zoo. No, sir. They got Alfonso Ribeiro's kids there. Let Carlton do his little dance at the entrance. Terry Crews is jacked. Give him a megaphone and let him flex his way into intoning people. Or Pep straight up yell, welcome to the fun fair. It's like asking Dolly Parton to clean out your gutters. Sure, she's probably got a heart of gold, but there's folks fair suited for the job, you know? I'm like a champion bull rider being asked to herd chickens. Somebody ain't quite thinking right. Then growing up in Louisiana, you see some things. Like remember old Clem used to wrestle gators down by the bayou, claimed he could whisper sweet nothings to him, but I swear I saw him bribe him with day-old donuts. Anyways, it reminds me of this time. See, I'm feeling myself, right? Thought I was all that in a bag of Zapp's potato chips. So this dude, he puts his hands on my face like he knows me, and I'm like, hold on, partner, we ain't that close, you hear? But then I see at the stance the crazy eyes like a possum cornered in a Walmart parking lot. I'm thinking, Kev, you're about to get socked. Better throw that haymaker, so bam, right in the kisser. Never punched a man in the face before. Felt like winning the lottery and losing your teeth all at once, so I'm hyped, celebrating like I just won a crawfish eating contest. All, yeah, bitch, you don't want none of this. Feeling like a real OG, you know, but then reality hits you like a catfish to the face. Jail time, one bed, one blanket. Suddenly you're offering bedtime stories, but then he tackles me mid-speech like a linebacker going after a toddler. I'm thinking, bro, I'm tiny. I got a low center of gravity like a bowling pin. I ain't going down easy, so I start uppercutting him, giving him the old Louisiana shuffle. He's losing, starts yelling for Thomas, his security guard, and Wayne, my security. This big old fella got Thomas pinned against the wall. Looked like he was trying to teach him the electric slide. I couldn't tell if Wayne was helping me or just enjoying a good squeeze. Didn't ask, didn't want to know. So then it hits me, Dallas, Texas. Getting arrested here is like ending up in a Nickelback concert. Ain't getting out till Tuesday. Gotta get out of here. Nate, my driver, bless his heart, he was OG. All right, gets the car, puts it on the curb, blocking everything. Never seen him so hyped like he's directing a bank robbery, telling people to stuff my head down so the cops don't see. That's when I realized Nate probably used to be a hitman or something. Then he snaps at me saying, Kevin, you got a career, movies, TV, you're throwing it all away for a street fight like I just bought a fidget spinner at a pawn shop. Then he's back to yelling about cops. We gotta go, but it's too late. We get locked up right there, Cleveland. I love y'all. Good night. And that's how I ended up sharing a cell with a dude who thought he was a heater on